They were asked to open a concert for one of their heroes, Ralph Stanley.
They were singing and playing when Ralph got there, and he just come in and sit down on the front row and listen to them. And he was just amazed by them, because anything that he asked them to do of his and Carter's old songs, they could do it.
Now, Mr. Roosevelt told me just how he felt when he heard that the drought going through. If your liquor's too red, it'll swell up your head. You better stick to that old Mountain Dew. Oh, it's gonna hit that old Mountain Dew, 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 and then if you did a few, Dew, Dew, I'll hook up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew.
In 1970, Ralph Stanley invited both 15-year-olds to join his band, the Clinch Mountain Boys. Ralph called Keith the most talented singer he'd ever worked with. They toured with Ralph's group for the next 2 years. It was a sudden adult dose of the spotlight. And being on the road so young, touring as far away as Japan had its price for Keith. It was as a teenager that Keith first started drinking heavily.
You saw things that probably a 15-year-old shouldn't see. You know, when you're on the road with an adult band, you know, it's, of course, Ralph was like a father to Keith, and I'm sure he took good care of him and watched over him and Ricky both. But still, you know, you worry about them when they're on the road. You know, when you play like a bluegrass festival, you've always got a friend there that's going to hand you a beer or a drink or something when you come off stage, and it's available. And a 15-year-old is not mature enough, you know, to say no. And I'm sure Keith, you know, that was probably when he started, and when he probably developed the problem was during those years.
He was always with older people. And that was one thing that I look back on and think that, you know, I wish maybe he could have been with people his own age more, but everybody that was in the music business was older than him, and he just had to be with them. And he just seemed like he grew up so fast. This was Keith's room, and he loved it so much. Of course, it was quite different when he was here. He had more guitars and things in here, but this is a guitar that he brought me, and he said, don't forget how to play, and keep this until I call for it. So it was very important to him, and he used it on a lot of his records. And it'd been to a couple of trips to Japan. And that's a picture of one of his heroes there. Elvis was one of his heroes. He loved him very much. Every morning I'd knock on his door and I'd say, you ready for your coffee? I'd bring his coffee to him. And at night, if he come in and he was real tired, I always massaged his shoulders till he went to sleep. But if he come in and I was asleep, he always come to my room to let me know he was home. And if he thought I was asleep, he'd pinch my toe. I'm home, Mom.
Keith spent 5 years on and off playing with Ralph Stanley.